Okay. I hope you didn't just watch all that. I hope you just fast forwarded. So, you ever want to go to the bathroom? Take four tablespoons of Epsom salt in 24 ounces of purified water. Mix it up real good and drink that through the course of the day. That'll get you to go to the bathroom. Oh my God. I don't know if those, I did the liver flush. I don't know if those were liver gallstones or whatever. They didn't look like it. They were just little specks on the surface, little white specks, you know. So anyways, this is the worst, this is the biggest pause in a video I've ever had. I apologize, but I guess I was too lazy to pause it and then restart it and have a part 2. So, anyways, the basic recipe for my bread, was given to me by my internet wife. I tweaked it a little, but she told me how I could tweak it. Well, I still tweaked it. So I don't know if you could call it my bread. Nobody owns the bread. But she learned about it from somebody else. I put this in the description of the SmytheBread video that I have. Anyways, I didn't invent it, okay? But I'm calling it SmytheBread because it's my combination. I'm sure somebody else out there has this combination, you know. But I'm going to call it SmytheBread. You know. Sue me. You know. Actually, and then I made a bread on accident. Well, not on accident, sort of on accident. Yesterday. It's similar, it's very similar. But it was so good that I surmise that it's the best bread yet. Even better than the SmytheBread. Let's just call it, you know, let's not run into copyright infringement here. Any violations, you know? Let's call it bat bread. Buckwheat, almond, teff. We'll call it bat bread. So, what I'm going to show you today is, this is probably going to be an hour-long show, folks, is bat honey bread. Okay? Now I know some people can't have honey, and all I can say is sorry, because I was taking my bat bread and at the end I would just put some honey on it and eat it, and that was just too much honey. So if you put a little bit of honey in your bread, it satisfies that sugar craving. You don't need to put honey on the bread itself when it's done. So what I do is I make the bat bread. And I put flax oil on it. And that to me is just great tasting. You know, I'm running low on olive oil, I'm running low on flax oil. Should have got those at the store today. But that's enough for me. You know, the reason I don't like coconut oil on the bread, I mean, I like it on the bread, but I'm trying to stay low on fat. And coconut oil has a lot of saturated fat. Flax oil has fat too, but it's not saturated fat. I like the light fat. I'm sticking with the light fat. And I believe that that bread is the best tasting bread I've made yet. So I apologize if you can't eat honey, but most people can have a little bit of honey. Most floxies. So we're going to show you. And the key difference is I only used 5 eggs. I only had 5 eggs left, but we're going to use 5 eggs because I think it does something, because instead of that extra egg, I put a tablespoon of honey. And I think that the bread it loses a little bit of the eggy taste, and the honey kind of fills up the bread, and it's more of a golden brown, and it's delicious, you know. I think I could take it down to the corner and sell it, you know, and they could start using it in their sandwiches because it's so healthy too. There's no sugar in it except for the sugar that's in the honey. It's sugar that's in a tablespoon of honey. So it's very healthy bread. And the size of it is you could just wolf all of it down. That's what I do. I just wolf all of it down with flax oil. It's just so delicious. It's light, you know, it's not like a real thick bread, so I think it's easier to digest. So without further ado, oh, my back is still cracking when I breathe in. I hate that. It's almost like you feel stuff inside your GI that just causes your skeleton to crack. Anyways, I also wanted to tell you that I ran into this weird thing with my thumb. It's very disturbing. I was cleaning the bread pan, and I was probably pissed off. You know, this was after I hurt my wrist. And the metal spatula was digging into my thumb. It wasn't really painful, you know, I noticed it because I was gripping on it. And, you know, when you take the spatula off, you're like, oh, there's this big red line here. I didn't think anything of it because it wasn't really that painful, you know. I think you lose a lot of your nerve sensation when you're flox. You know, you just don't get a lot of as much input from your body. So I went to the computer later on, and I went to touch my pants, and there was this horrible stinging sensation from my thumb. And so I look at my thumb. You can see it. You can see it. It looks perfectly normal. Everything about it looks normal, but when I touch this side of it, it's like this crazy stinging sensation. I don't know what it is, except for somehow I pushed down with the spatula and damaged something inside the thumb. You know, hopefully it's not the nerves, you know. It doesn't seem to be healing, you know. It's been like 4 days. And if I go real slow and touch it, it's okay. But when something brushes against it, it's like I'm being stung by a bee. It's crazy, you know? And I know it has to do with the floxing and the weakness of my tissues, you know. Incidentally, you know, I was looking at one of my first videos, and I'm looking at myself just sitting like this, and I look at my hand, and my hand looks so beautiful. It's like it has tissue, it's shiny, it's puffy. You know, the wrist looks huge, the hand looks huge, the forearm looks huge. It's just like an inflated version of my hands now, and it looks so beautiful, and I'm just like, oh man, I was in so much better shape then. You know, despite all my depression and everything. It's like the Cipro just wrecked my mind, and then eventually my mind got a little better, but my body was wrecked. I was just wrecking my own body. But let's get to the bread. So, I'm going to go to the bread position. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. So, here's our mixing bowl. So now everything I do with my hands, I have to be careful not to use the outside of my right thumb, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if that's neuropathy, but run a little on ginger. Haven't taken my garlic today. Incidentally, I have the A298C genetic homozygous defect, which pretty much all Floxies have, which points to an inability to detox properly. I'm taking Neurochondria by Thorne Research, which has methylfolate and methyl B12, so I'm hoping that helps. Maybe it is helping. There's so many different things popping up now, like the sun and the better weather, and you know, I've been eating chicken, and so you don't really know what's helped as far as my leg strength, which has gotten a little better. I'm hearing like clicking in my ear every time I talk. Anyways, let's get to this. 5 eggs. Got your 5 eggs. We've got our trusty almond meal. Teff flour. Baking soda. And buckwheat. Okay, now what you want to do is, got our half a cup here. Obviously you can double all these ingredients if you have two bread pans, which I do, but I'm just gonna do one here because I'll eat both loaves. But just double all the ingredients and add 2 minutes to your cook time because you have 2 things in there. So this bread I cook for 43 minutes. If you have 2 loaves, cook for 45 minutes. So, we're going to do, I always do the eggs first, because they're the messiest. Local, organic. See the multicolors? Yeah. Okay. Yet again, we got a lucky egg in here. Lucky white one. That's not lucky. The last egg was not lucky for me. What the fuck? So, I'm gonna crack the eggs. 5 eggs. Dose. Trace. This one's a little droopy. I'm really trying to get back into these recipes and stuff, but it's hard with my depression, you know? And this whole wrist thing. My wrist, incidentally, is the TFCC joint. The TFCC joint, which is a bitch. If you hurt, it's not like it's just like a top of my hand or somewhere here in my forearm. It's a fucking joint
right in there, and if the inner cartilage is messed, then you're kind of screwed. So I'm hoping it doesn't deteriorate. And guess what? The Epsom salts are working again. I'll be right back. It's gonna be the longest video ever. Got 2 eggs left.
Let's do the 2 eggs first. Come on. See, I have anger issues. I really do. I get mad at, people that are good to me. Here's the 5th egg. I'm just a dick, Oh, we got a shell. Now you gotta fish out the shell. We're having real issues with this shell. Got him.
I think that's the only one. I'll be right back.
Got our 5 eggs. Just fast forward it until you see me. Until you see me. Until you see me. Okay. Okay, we're back. This is okay, so we got our 5 eggs. We're done with the eggs. Incidentally, the biggest problem I have while going to the bathroom is my puborectalis muscle, which is the muscle you use to signal that you're done, you know, stop the flow of the stool. Well, once I start going, will start contracting when I don't want it to. It's kind of got a mind of its own. Once I've gone, you know, that initial time, it just starts, it gets aggravated and it just starts stopping. So I'll be going to the bathroom after that and it'll stop, and then I'll go a little bit more and it'll stop, and it just stops the train, if you will. And it really sucks. It's like incomplete emptying, if you will. So Hartkins is gonna watch. So we've got our, let's ever sit like this. She's probably gonna fall back at some point. So, got our 5 eggs, done with those. Now what you want to do with this bread, this is a third, this is not a half. Where's the half cup? What you want to do with this bread is you want to use half cup, and you want to short the ingredients a little bit. You want to just a little under half a cup. I know it sounds silly, but because we're using 5 eggs, we'll do our buckwheat. So we've got a little under half a cup buckwheat. Teff. Okay. Little under half a cup. You can probably just do half a cup. I mean, this is how I did it last time. A little under half a cup of Teff. We're going to do 3/4 of a tablespoon of baking soda, baking powder, same thing. I think it's the same thing. But I like to do a little bit less than 3/4, but that's because I'm a little insane. just slightly less. That's about a half. Just do a tad more. Do half a cup of almond meal, or just under half a cup. You know what? I think I've got the camera wrong here. The camera should be the other side. That way you get a better angle on everything. Yeah, that's better. Harkins. Keep wanting to call her Tailkins because I had a character in World of Warcraft called Tailkins. It was a warlock. That world is like so far away from me right now, it's like eons. So we got our half a cup of almond meal. In case you didn't know, as you close a bag, you want to push the air out as you seal it. Okay. Now, a little under half a cup of olive oil, which I'm running out of. That's an emergency. We're going to need this later, or right now, to line our bread pan. Maybe I should have used a different oil. There's an idea. There's an idea. You can use a different oil to line your bread pan if you want like a different type of flavor. You know, you can put like avocado oil in there. Get the avocado flavor on the outside of the bread, or whatever oil you want. You know, even fish oil. Maybe fish oil would. Fish bread? No, that probably wouldn't taste too good. I'm gonna line this. Make sure you get the sides. Don't do the top like I used to do. You know, don't do the top, because the oil will just cake up there and impossible to get off. As you can see, well, you can't really see it, but you're probably thinking, oh, Colin, you're using your wrist fine. It's kind of like a dull, constant ache, so it's not like super bad. It's a good movie, by the way. Got the pan oiled up. We're going to do it one more time before we put it in there, just to make sure the sides are oiled, because the oil will come down to the bottom. You want to do that last. So, we're going to add our almost half a cup of oil. Half a cup exactly of water. We shouldn't need to add any more water. I think I was just a little stingy on the oil. Whoa. Whoa. And just a little more. Half a cup of water. And just a little sprinkling of salt. We're ready to mix. Ready to mix. No, we're not. This is where we get crazy. This is where my alteration comes in.
Manuka honey. You thought I was going to use this, didn't you? I did say honey. But here's where it gets really custom. This is where it gets really custom right here. Boom. Royal jelly, pollen, propolis, enriched raw honey. I shouldn't even be showing you this. This is like the secret ingredient. Damn. Now everybody knows how to make my bread. Oh well. Stakich is the brand. Stakich. Stakich. And this stuff is super good.
So we're going to take a big old tablespoon of this. Big old tablespoon. And you're going to need something to scrape it off with because it's thick. Big old tablespoon. This satisfies the sweet tooth out there. You're going to have to scrape it off with another utensil. It's very thick. Don't even start trying to eat this straight up. Don't even lick the spoon. I know you want to. Once you start doing that, it's over. Put it away. Put it away. Now we're ready to mix. These all need to be washed. Be right back. Okay, ready to mix. Go over here and mix. Do the mix can. Am I missing something? No, I'm not missing anything. Okay, let's go ahead and take these out. the sink. Take this bowl. We are going to re-oil the sides. Make sure the sides are greasy. Set your oven to 350 for 43 minutes. Redo the sides here. Want the sides to be oiled when the mix goes in there. Otherwise the mix will stick. And that's the bitch to clean. So, my next video I may do, well, eventually I'm going to do some pumpkin bread, which is from the SCD cookbook. It's going to be kind of a totally different recipe. This is basically from the Candida forms. My little tweak. My little 5-egg honey tweak. So, we are going to pour this in here. Ooh.
Did I mix that good enough? I mixed the hell out of it. It's got some dark strings in it. Maybe that's the honey. Do little decorations on the top part. If you want, you can use a spatula to get the last of it, but I'm feeling lazy.
So, there you go, in the oven. We take this, put it in our Breville oven. 350 convection for 43 minutes. Which it's just about to reach.
And I know you'll enjoy it. So thanks for watching. Hartkins says thank you. And while this bread is cooking, I'm gonna go see if I can go for a walk and maybe even jog like an old man for about 50 feet. Thanks for watching. And hope you all have a good day, and you all pray for my wrist to heal. I don't really want to have chronic wrist pain the rest of my life. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Maybe I'll do zucchini sticks in my next video. Oven's ready. 45 minutes, 43 minutes for this bread. And I assure you, it will be delicious when I have mine with some flax oil. Can't wait. I'll try to stay positive and, stop paralleling my wrist.